Hey guys, and welcome back to Franchise Nation. I'm your host, Moet Swami, and today I am bringing you guys the mock draft for the 2018 season of the New Orleans Saints franchise. This is our year 2 off season, so this is our second draft that we are partaking in. And before I get into it, the live stream for the draft will be tonight, Thursday, December 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific, and midnight over for you guys in England. I'm sorry it's a little bit late. I will be having family coming over tomorrow, and they're going to be staying through New Year's. So I won't be able to stream Friday night or Saturday. And with that being said, this was the best time, so I'm sorry for the short notice. But without further ado, let's jump right into this. Actually, we have a little further ado. Thank you to everybody who submitted a mock draft. There is so many of you that I'm just going to put all of them into a Microsoft Word document and upload that to Google Docs so you can click through all of them. So thank you to everybody. With 24 hours notice, you guys are absolutely amazing. So thank you for that. Yeah, that's pretty much that. So now let's jump right into it. With the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Peter DeMarco, edge rusher, Florida. The Buccaneers are a team that definitely needed a few different things. They needed a corner, they needed a free safety, they needed an edge rusher, a wide receiver, a guard. But whatever it is, Peter DeMarco is probably the best player in this draft. He is just unbelievable. Someone who ended up running a 4.53 as an edge rusher, the best finesse move in the class. Really agile. He's just a stud, and I think the Buccaneers could really benefit from having him on the edge. I don't think they'll be able to pass him up. A player that I could see them going after, though, would be Corey Whiteside out of Oregon, but he's going to be coming a little bit later. Next up, the New Orleans Saints, who basically spent every penny they had to acquire this pick, trading this year's 24th overall selection, next year's first rounder, this year's fourth rounder, and next year's fifth, along with Willie Snead to the 49ers for number 2 overall and a sixth rounder this year. With the number 2 overall selection, the New Orleans Saints select Michael Wong, quarterback, Pittsburgh. He's 22 years old. He is only had one real season, but he has great throw power. He's an accurate passer both at the short and medium levels. He's quick, he's strong, he's one of the better athletes in the class despite posting a 40-yard dash time. So foot speed isn't his best asset, but he's quick and he's strong, and this guy is going to be a stud. He is by far our best quarterback in this class, and the combination of his age and his skills make him an ideal fit for us. At number 3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs selecting Kean Horn, linebacker, Florida. The Chiefs need a linebacker very badly with Derek Johnson gone, and they do need a right guard. They have a backup quarterback in Cortez Meeks, who they definitely are going to want to improve upon. And then you have wide receiver and other positions, etc. So it was one of those things that Kean Horn is just a really athletic player. He's fast, and he kind of reminds me of this year's Zach Hogan. A great tackler, best tackler in the class, hits hard, good block shedding, another 4.53 guy. The fact that he's going to even fall to number 3 is almost surprising because you could see that the Buccaneers might even consider him. He's that good. And at number 4, I have the Detroit Lions going edge rusher and going after Nico Rosemond, outside backer / edge, Florida State. He's 21 years old, one of the youngest players in this class, and he is an excellent player getting off the block. He's a good pass rusher. He's somebody who really is just a talented player that he's an early first-round projected guy, and I think with having Peter DeMarco off the board, he's the next logical, player to drop. After that, we have the Cleveland Browns selecting quarterback Zachary McAllister out of Stanford. I could see them going Colby Ditka here, but I do think that Zachary McAllister is going to be the player they go after. He kind of has that Andy Dalton type mold to him. He's 6'5", 22 years old, doesn't have a great arm strength, but he's extremely accurate short. He can throw on the run. He's a good West Coast style quarterback. I could see Colby Ditka here as well, but I don't think they're going to stray away from Zachary McAllister here unless they go after another position of need, which could be something along the lines of linebacker if they want to go Santorius, Haynes, or if they want to go maybe defensive tackle. But I think that quarterback is probably their biggest concern, and getting one here probably would be the best bet. And at number 6, the Los Angeles Rams select Darian Williamson, cornerback out of Clemson. Corner is by far their biggest need, and why not go after the guy who has the best man coverage in the draft? He's just a guy who is, he's 21 years old. He's the best man coverage guy in the class, as I said. He's really good in press, and he ran a 4.38. I mean, this kid is going to be excellent. He's not very strong, only 9 on the bench press, but he has good speed, good agility. Definitely a player to look for. He's a projected mid-first rounder, but I don't think that the Rams could pass up on him here. And at number 7, the Tennessee Titans are also a team that is in need of a corner, and I have them going Corey Whiteside out of Oregon. 6'1", 199, 22 years old. He is a strong press corner, good in man, good in zone, but he does lack some speed. He makes up for it with quickness, but that speed is definitely something that could hold him back. He could end up being, he ran a 4.6 at the combine, but I'd say he's probably closer to about a 4.55 in play speed. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings desperately need help at wide receiver, especially with Laquan Treadwell not particularly panning out the way they liked, and with the best zone corners kind of gone already with 2 corners off the board. Why reach when you have Jack Percy fall right into your lap, wide receiver out of Tennessee? He's the best wide receiver in this class for the most part. Ran a 4.47 at 6 foot, great catching, great hands. The best route runner in this class, and he also ran a sub 4-second 20-yard shuttle. That's crazy. He's insanely quick. He's one of the stronger players in this class as well. He's just an excellent player, and they'd be foolish to pass up on him. With the 9th overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Aaron Dever, corner, LSU. The second time in a row that a top 10 pick went to a corner out of LSU. Last year, the Saints took Jacques Fassett at number 7. Devers an interesting player because he's a really well-rounded 5'11" corner. He ran a 4.46 and he shows good press, good zone, good man. Just a very talented player and a projected mid-first rounder. He has all the tools to be a very good, long-standing player in this league. Obviously, his man coverage could use a little bit of a boost, but he's still excellent. In at number 10, the Miami Dolphins select Barry Nugent, interior defender, Auburn. Nugent is probably our best defensive tackle in this class. He's the best at getting off the block and creating havoc. Ran a 4.98 as a DT, which is definitely not bad. Is a good pass rusher too. Not the best in the world, but he's still quality. I could see them going James Mountain here, but I think that they would probably go defensive tackle instead of a 3-4 run stopper, just for the idea that, well, one, this game doesn't, I don't know if they change guys from DT to defensive ends, but either way, that's why I think he's going to go there. In at number 11, we have a player who kind of is a mystery, but not really, and that is LaJarvis Ball out of Miami going to the Ravens. LaJarvis Ball is a projected mid-second rounder. And the reason that not much is known about him is that he actually had to leave school earlier in the year. And the fact that he showed up at the combine after missing so much time, he just kind of took things by storm. Basically, what was said about him is after missing several organized team activities, he will not be finishing his final season with Miami. So the fact that he had those off-the-field issues have dropped him on some boards, but in a really weak wide receiver class, he's one of the best. He has good hands, great in traffic, makes big plays, and he ran a 4.33. 4.01 20-yard shuttle. He's just a freak athlete, and the Baltimore Ravens desperately need a wide receiver. If it's between him and Devin Hollis, I really can't see them going for Hollis. I think LaJarvis Ball is that good. So I have him going at number 11. At number 12, the Washington Redskins are on the clock, and I have them taking Santorius Haynes out of Pittsburgh. He is a linebacker. Middle linebacker is their biggest need by far, and Haynes, you could make the case, is even better than Kean Horn. Didn't run as fast of a 40 time, ran a 4.64, which is still good though. Excellent player, great wrap tackler, great in pursuit, hits hard, really, really strong. Led the linebacker class with 28 bench press reps. Good vertical leap to him, good broad jump. Just a very excellent player. And at number 12, I think he fits. At number 13, I have the New York Jets selecting Jarrell Gaston, offensive tackle, Ohio State. They need a left tackle, and despite the fact that the two players above Gaston on my board are both right tackles, I think left tackle is just too important for them. Gaston is still a very good player. He excels in run blocking. He is really strong, and he's just a player that has some good tools to him. I think the Jets would be kind of foolish to pass up on him, even though if I were them, I'd probably draft Seth Buckner and convert him over to left tackle, but that's just me. In at number 14, I have Seth Buckner going to the Arizona Cardinals. They need a right tackle, and who better than the best tackle in the draft, in my opinion. Buckner is just a ridiculously talented player out of Louisville. 23 years old. He's an excellent run blocker, good pass blocker, good impact blocking getting into space. He's strong, he's quick, he can leap, he can jump. Definitely has good agility to him, good acceleration skills. So he's somebody who I think is a lock to be a top 15, top 16 selection. And at number 15, I have the Dallas Cowboys going Christian Hightower, corner out of UCLA. He is a great zone corner. He's 6 foot, 194 out of UCLA, as I said, 23 years old. And his strength is zone coverage. He ran a 4.42, displays good quickness to him. The combination of his size, his zone coverage skills, and his speed make him an ideal mid-first rounder, and he fits well with the Dallas Cowboys. In at number 16, I have the Chicago Bears selecting edge rusher James Benedict out of Pittsburgh. They need left end and right end help, so obviously they're a team that pretty much requires edge rushers. They also could be requiring someone on the interior, so I could see James Mountain falling here instead of going one pick later. But I think Benedict is a good player. He is someone kind of stuck in between. He hits hard. He has a really good finesse move. Someone who probably would excel in a role at 4-3 outside backer or 3-4, maybe even a 4-3 defensive end. Pretty scheme versatile, someone who is going to be a good player for the Bears. And at 17, I have James Mountain going to the Oakland Raiders, interior defender out of Penn State. He's a good pass rusher. He's a good run stopper. Ran a 4.81, which is really quite good for an interior defender. Definitely a good pick for the Raiders who want to shore up their interior defensive line and allow Khalil Mack and company to destroy the offensive tackles on the edge. And at number 18, I have the San Diego Chargers selecting Marcus Edmonds, free safety out of Louisville. While Edmonds is not a player who I had, he's actually my 10th best safety in this class. He's someone who's a projected mid-first rounder. He's one of the better free safeties, and the fact that he's 10th is more of a sign about who else is in this class than him. While his coverage skills are yet to be determined at the next level, he ran a 4.56. He's a really talented player in his own right. He can hit hard, he can tackle well, and he's a good run support free safety, a nice fill player. If he can improve his coverage a little bit, I think he could fill a role the same way Eric Weddle did in the San Diego Chargers defense. At 19, I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting wide receiver Devin Hollis out of Nebraska. Wide receiver is their biggest need, pairing somebody with A.J. Green, and Hollis is pretty much the last good wide receiver on the board for a very long time. Corey Screen isn't terrible, but Hollis with a 4.4 speed, good quickness, good hands, and especially in traffic. He might be a little bit short on the 5'8 side, but he is a very versatile weapon that you can throw in the slot or on the outside and have an impact immediately. In at 20, the Buffalo Bills select edge rusher Stephen Rushing, just a perfect name for an edge rusher, out of Rutgers. He is our third best edge rusher in this class. He might be more of a 4-3 run stopper, but he's still a very talented player, gets off blocks well, good tackler, good hit power to him. Definitely a player that the Bills could use on the outside. At 21, I have Colby Ditka finally being drafted by the Houston Texans. Ditka, obviously the grandson of NFL Hall of Famer Mike Ditka, started playing I talked about it a little bit. He was a tight end in in high school, but he did not display enough speed to actually be one at the next level. He filled in at quarterback due to injury in his final season in high school, and the rest is history. 6'6", 231, a great arm, still a little bit unpolished throwing down the field, but his short throw accuracy is definitely a strength for him, which you can't say for everybody in this class. In at 22, I have the Denver Broncos selecting tight end Nash Boyman out of Pittsburgh. Yes, Michael Wong had a really excellent team around him, and the Broncos definitely need a tight end. It's not their biggest need in the world, but I think with the drop-off at edge rusher and at interior defender, I think tight end is probably their best selection here. And Boyman is phenomenal. He's fast, he's powerful, he has great hands. He kind of can fill a role of someone along the lines of Jordan Reed. Running a 4.7 for a tight end is great. Also, great catching skills at 6'2", 247. He's pretty much a mismatch no matter what. In at 23, I have the Atlanta Falcons going Roy Carswell, edge defender out of Illinois. Carswell's another player who kind of fits that role of being a coverage safety or an edge rusher, kind of in between. Good tackler, really good pass rush move. He's only 21 years old. He ran a 4.65, which is a little bit slow for being in space, but he's still a very talented player and someone that I could see them going after with this pick. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers selecting Rakeem Rumph, middle linebacker out of Louisville. Rumph is our third best linebacker in this class, another really good tackler. Another guy who ran a 4.64. He's lesser than Haynes, and Horn, but he's still a talented player, and I would be surprised to see him on the board at this point, going any further than this selection. I think the 49ers need the linebacker help, and with all of these draft picks that they're getting and the wide receiver that they now have, middle linebacker is probably their biggest need. Up at 25, I have the New York Giants selecting Derek Cooley, offensive guard, Florida State. The Giants need help on the offensive line, and with the three best middle linebackers off the board, they could reach for a safety here, but I think that Derek Cooley is just a really excellent player. He has a good combination of size, speed, strength, good impact blocking, excellent strength, as I said. He's a player that can get into space and make some big hits from guard, and I think that right guard with their biggest weakness is a perfect fit for Derek Cooley. In at 26, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers going cornerback, Trayvon Blanton out of Louisville, another Louisville player off the board, 6 foot 211 at 22 years old. He's a guy who is pretty much even across the board. He can play man, he can play zone, play in press coverage, and he ran a 4.34, which means that his change of direction is going to be better. He has good speed to him in a straight line, can help cover those deep balls, and just a really talented player. I'd be surprised to see him fall too much more, but he's a surefire bet as a first-round pick. At 27, the Carolina Panthers select Ali Bogle, corner out of Wisconsin. The corners are flying off the board. Another corner, he's 21 years old, a zone corner with good press. Lacks some of the man coverage skills that someone like Blanton has, but he's still a talented player and ran a 4.42 with good agility to him. He's a player that at 6'2" is just a lengthy player, good long arms, someone that the Carolina Panthers desperately need. At 28, I have the New England Patriots selecting a running back, and they take Shakir Clark out of Oklahoma. He's 21 years old, and he is still our best running back in this class, basically. Ran a 4.58, which is a little bit slow, but he's more of a balanced power back, great carrying, great vision, very patient, has some strength to him, not the best in the world, but he does show good agility for someone of his size, 6'1", 207. At 29, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Devin Edwards, strong safety out of Clemson. Edwards is an interesting player because he is a prototypical hard hitter with good coverage skills. They do need that strong safety, and while I think Lane Rasmussen might be a better player, a lot of people are in the Devin Edwards camp and would probably prefer him. He's 6 foot 207 at 24 years old, so he's a little bit more experienced. I do have my concerns about him, but I feel like the Jaguars are going to take him. At 30, I have the Seahawks taking Deshaun Wooten, center out of Clemson. Wooten is our second best center, but that's only because David Krenzel out of Florida really isn't getting enough respect. Wooten is a great run blocker and pass blocker, does a good job in zone blocking. He's only 21 years old, which is always a plus, and shows good strength and agility if he needs to get into the open field. Wooten, a projected early second rounder, might be off the board a little bit earlier than this, but I think he's a really talented player. At 31, the Green Bay Packers select Griffin Sampson, interior defender out of Wake Forest. They need a defensive tackle first and foremost, and they could go guard instead, but at this point, I think it probably would make more sense to go after the guy who just fits. They could go Derwin Bullock out of Wisconsin as the left guard, which definitely doesn't seem too far-fetched, or Brandon Renfree out of Michigan State. But I do think that Griffin Sampson is a very talented player and fits their needs pretty well. So I wouldn't say that they should go away from that sort of selection, but I think that either him or who else? Maybe Russell Elmore as somebody who they could go after at a DT spot right here. Lastly, we have the defending Super Bowl champions, the Indianapolis Colts, and I have them selecting free safety Reggie Canty out of Auburn. Canty is our best free safety in this class. Projected early second rounder, a good zone player, flies around the field, 4.49 40, good agility, pretty good strength to him. He excels in zone coverage, and they need a free safety pretty badly. So that pretty much wraps up this mock draft. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. And the stream, like I said, will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, December 29th. So I hope to see you guys there. I'm Moonlight Swami, and I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace!